Hello, guys. Welcome to another edition here of Out of Turn 4. Boy, we saw quite the exciting weekend in auto racing. Let's not waste any time. Coming up on the show today, we are going to recap the NASCAR Cup Series and Xfinity Series at Auto Club. We are also going to talk IndyCar at St. Pete. And then, of course, we want to talk some of the latest F1 news. And then we'll give our picks for the race weekend at Las Vegas. But we started off with the recap of quite an insane weekend over at Auto Club Speedway. Cole Custer opens up the weekend with his first Xfinity win of the season, and I believe as many starts as he'll run with SS Greenlight Racing. He wins at Auto Club in 3 overtimes to capture his 10th career NASCAR Xfinity Series win. And again, it's his first win this season, the first ever win for the NASCAR Xfinity program at SS Greenlight Racing. And should I note, though, that this team has an SHR Tech Alliance, but boy, it's good for them. Great win for Bobby Dotter and that team. They've been in the sport for quite a while in the Truck Series, and I believe just recently moved up to the Xfinity Series. So great to see them finally get a victory. I didn't get to watch the race, but 3 overtimes, and some of the highlights just looked insane. So great weekend for Cole Custer, and of course he celebrated by doing the Steve Austin, smashing the beers together and pounding those down. Might explain his Cup performance on Sunday. He might have been a little hungover. Sorry. Anyway, but the Cup race, I saw the highlights of that, and boy, that was quite a show. Kyle Larson, the race was dominated by Tyler Reddick, and of course Eric Jones was also competing at a very high level, but Kyle Larson was the one who came out with the win at the end of the day. He captures his 17th career NASCAR Cup Series win and his first win this season. Of course, it is his first win after his 10-win season last year that resulted in the championship. But the biggest story I think we should talk is between Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott. Of course, battling late in the race, Chase Elliott made it 3 wide on the outside. Kyle Larson came up and essentially put the 9 in the wall. Kyle Larson claims he never saw Chase Elliott, and obviously I'm a little bit of a confused fan today. Sorry, I have a Ross Chastain shirt on, and I have a Kyle Larson, a Chase Elliott hat on. But yeah, sorry about that, guys. It's because I just woke up. I got a little bit of hat hair, so I'm pretty sure you guys didn't want to see that. Or morning hair there. Yeah, see? Anyway. So, I could use the defense that Kyle Larson has a rear view camera as well as a rear view mirror, which I wouldn't be far off. But, I don't know. See, to me, it's kind of a mix of both. I mean, Chase Elliott has a right to be mad. The fans, like myself, have a right to be upset at what happened, but at the end of the day, will there be revenge? I just don't think so. It sounds like Jeff Gordon and Rick Hendrick were very keen on meeting with both drivers, and it sounds like this will be a one-time issue. I'm sure Chase won't be as friendly maybe in the future. He might, he might try to compete with Kyle Larson a little bit more, and I would hope so, because that 5 team's got something going, and it's time for Chase and the others to start stepping up with the same equipment. I just hope it doesn't result in a future wreck. Please don't wreck Kyle Larson. Come on. You're better than that, is all I gotta say. It's one thing if it's outside of the organization, but it's a big issue if it's inside of the organization. I mean, you're both the future leaders of this organization at Hendrick. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. Overall, my thoughts on the race, oh my goodness. Based on everything I saw, everything I've read, Auto Club had its best race in years. The next gen is just living up to the hype other than the flat tire situation. But man, this track is built for next gen already. It's built for it. NASCAR, Auto Club officials, please don't change the track. I beg of you, keep the track as it is. I know it's in need of a repave, but don't reconfigure it. Okay? It's fine if you want to leave it as is. I mean, leave it as long as you can, obviously. I mean, it worked for Atlanta. It can work for Auto Club. But leave the 2-mile oval. In fact, maybe even look into giving it a second date. That's how good it was. But of course, we know NASCAR is looking at other venues right now. If we have time, we might talk about that as well. Sorry, it's something in my eye. But, man, both put on a hell of a show. And I'm telling you, if it's like that, I might be a little bit excited for Michigan. Because Michigan's also a 2-mile oval. We'll see what happens there. But again, my thoughts, man, I wish I could have watched that race live. I would have had a blast. But one race I do wish I saw live, the IndyCar race at St. Petersburg. Scott McLaughlin got the pole for the race. He led 49 laps, and he went on to win the race at St. Petersburg. It is his first career win. If you recall back to our SCN days, I had said, oh man, Scott McLaughlin, he is the future of this organization. I believe I had said that. I knew he was a top recruit entering that offseason in 2020, entering 2021. And I think now we're going to start seeing that. He wasn't too high on my radar, if you remember last week. He really wasn't that high on my radar compared to Romain Grosjean and others, but I'm telling you, I think Scott McLaughlin is going to be a force. He is going to be a major force in this series in the future, and frankly, he could be one of the better Team Penske cars going forward. But again, I have sung my praises on Scott McLaughlin when he entered the series, and I'm hoping now we'll finally see, why that was the case. But I heard it was great racing. Alex Palou came so close to beating him, the defending champion, in his third season. And then, of course, Will Power finished third. Colton Herta finished fourth. Romain Grosjean, the guy I thought would be a bigger threat in this race, he came home in fifth. Rinus VeeKay, one guy who's going to be making a big decision this offseason, he's in sixth. Ray Hall seventh. Scott Dixon eighth, led 26 laps. Marcus Ericsson, Takuma Sato round out the top 10. Takuma Sato was really quiet all weekend up until that point, but great to see Takuma Sato come back with that Rick Ware Racing Honda. We look further down, Elio and Simon, 14-15 for the Meyer Shank group. They have a little bit of work to do. Rossi was 20th, but he led 10 laps. He's going to have to do a little bit better. But, of course, overall, I heard a great race. So, anytime you hear that, that's always a good sign. Anyway, but let's get on to the big story. This is the story that might take up the majority of this show, of course. We said on Sunday morning Tinkle, we stand with Ukraine, and we still stand by Ukraine in this whole potential World War III situation. The Russian Grand Prix, as a result, FIA decided we will not travel to Russia in these conditions. The Russian GP was canceled amid the war in Ukraine. Of course, if you remember last week, Sebastian Vettel came out and said, I won't run in Russia. I vow I will not run that race. And then, of course, Max Verstappen stood up the next day and said, I don't want to race we should not be racing in a country that's at war. So, you know, honestly, the FIA was pressured to do something because with Vettel saying he didn't want to go there, I apologize, oh man, had Verstappen said, I'm not racing there, or had Lewis Hamilton said, I'm not racing there, you would have been pressured to make a decision because it would have killed ticket sales. It would have killed, it would have killed TV ratings. It would have really just put a damper on the weekend. And, I feel like F1 was really pressured into that decision by that. And, of course, growing outrage of what's going on. And frankly, I don't like to give many political opinions here. But this is one I feel like I have to weigh in on. And I think it's a good thing that F1 canceled the race weekend in Ukraine or Russia. I really feel like it was a great decision. You can't go to a country that's at war, and you especially can't go to a country that was the aggravator in the war. They're the ones who essentially started this war. And it's getting ugly, okay? But there's another aspect to this as well that is huge right now, and it surrounds Haas driver Nikita Mazepin. Of course, his future at Haas F1 is in jeopardy amidst all this. Of course, Uralkali, the sponsor for Haas, is a Russian sponsor. Mazepin is a Russian driver. And both their futures in jeopardy with the program. And it's not because they're Russian. It's because of who the Mazepin family is linked to. Uralkali, Nikita Mazepin's dad, he is linked directly to Vladimir Putin, who was rumored to have met right before the invasion. And I hate guilty by association because it happened with Connor Daly at Road America a few years ago with Roush Fenway. I hate saying guilty by association. I hate it, but this is a different circumstance, obviously. And, for Mazepin, he needs to go. I'm sorry. It's not just on his driving talent. If you're directly linked to a political issue like that, where a war broke out and whatnot, I mean, Mazepin's dad, obviously very close ties to Putin. I don't see how you can let him continue to race. And if you are, it's because you're looking at the bottom line. You're looking at the dollar amount. And I just think that Haas needs to, I know F1's an expensive sport. It would be really tough to recruit a new sponsor, but I just don't see how you can race. I just don't see how you can let Mazepin race, seeing what's going on in Ukraine, seeing who, again, his dad has a direct link. And not to mention, you're going to have an issue with visa status for Nikita Mazepin. Multiple races might not let him in. I know that there are certain countries that are already blocking visas for Russian people out of national security concerns. So it's really just at the end of the day making the decision easier for Haas. But of course, will they step up and do it? It will be another question. Of course, they've already said that Pietro Fittipaldi will be ready to go if Mazepin can't race in certain countries, he'll be ready to go if they do let go of Mazepin. And Pietro deserves a shot, I think. Nico Hulkenberg was another one who I've heard his name floating around. It would be good for Mick, for sure. But at the end of the day, I just don't see how you can keep Fittipaldi, seeing all this controversy surrounding him, surrounding his family, and surrounding his native country. But the fact, look, again, it's not because he's Russian. Okay, there are some, would I be saying that Ovechkin should get released? I don't think Alexander Ovechkin should get released necessarily. I don't think, if this was Mikhail Aloshin, the former IndyCar driver, I wouldn't say this, but it's the fact of the matter that his family is directly linked to the guy who ordered this attack on Ukraine, is why he needs to go. And I hate guilty by association again, but in this instance, it's kind of fitting, because, again, links, connections. But again, looking, forward, looking ahead though, if Haas does not ban Mazepin, or fire him, I should say, if Haas does not fire Nikita Mazepin, I would hope that the U.S. is watching this situation. I would hope, again, please don't comment anything on pro-Biden, anti-Biden, pro-Trump, anti-Trump. I'm just going to delete your comment. I'm not dealing with that. But I would hope the President of the United States, the national security advisors are watching what's going on in F1 as well and saying this guy might be a security risk. I would hope that they will not let him race at COTA or in the Miami GP. So that's my hope right there, is that they will strongly consider revoking his ability to come in. Just again, because he's linked to Putin. I don't think he's going to do anything, but again, I think this is something that the U.S. needs to consider and take seriously, the U.S. government, and this is something, I think Haas needs to strongly consider, is that, we need to do something. This is we need to take action now sort of thing. So we'll watch what happens in the coming days, in the coming weeks, and we'll, of course, keep this story updated. Let me know what you think in terms of all of this going on right now. But anyway, let's get on to the picks for the weekend for the Truck Series at Vegas. And my picks made easy. Kyle Busch. Do I have to explain it? Xfinity at Vegas, I think Ty Gibbs will finally break through and get his first win of the season. I'm going to just keep picking Ty Gibbs till I'm right, probably, but who knows. Cup Series of Vegas, I think Joey Logano. Joey Logano will be the guy that gets the job done on Sunday. Pennzoil's the sponsor. Ford's look strong early on. It really looks like a Ford and Chevy kind of year. Toyota's still got some kinks to work out, but I'm sure they'll find victory lane soon enough, just not this weekend. But anyway, that's all we've got. We want to thank you guys for watching this week's edition of Out of Turn 4. Tune in this Sunday to, I'm going to get the name right this time, guys. Tune in this Sunday to Sunday Morning Tinkle. Jason and I will be back. We'll be getting ready for conference tournament week ahead. And we will also be discussing, a lot of the latest news headlines, a lot of the latest sports headlines. So you won't want to miss that. And then tune in to No Final Bell tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. Again, so No Final Bell, 5 p.m. Eastern, YouTube. And then Sunday Morning Tinkle. Sorry, it's going to take me a little while to get used to it, guys. So Sunday morning Tinkle, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Be sure to tune in for both shows. Sorry, I cut myself off. Until then, guys, goodbye, everyone.